وأنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما ويعذب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات الظانين بالله ظن السوء عليهم دائرة السوء وغضب الله عليهم ولعنهم أعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عزيزا حكيما إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا لتؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتعزروه وتوقروه وتسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم فمن نكث فإنما ينكث على نفسه ومن أوفى بما عاهد عليه الله فسيؤتيه أجرا عظيما سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم قل فمن يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا أو أراد بكم نفعا بل كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا بل ظننتم أن لن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهليهم أبدا وزين ذلك في قلوبكم وظننتم ظن السوء وكنتم قوما بورا صدق الله العلي العظيم
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد.
May Allah have mercy on the one who recites Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
أفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وأنيس نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين وأصحابه المنتجبين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, all praise are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send our salams, salutations, and blessings upon the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, and his pure family. My brothers and sisters, as we approach the 10th of Muharram, the day in which the biggest of all the massacres against the most noblest of all happened, the qulub of the mu'mineen, the hearts of the believers are saddened moment by moment. As Imam Baba alayhi salam, he would say that his father, he says that my father was Imam Qadim alayhi salam. When he would approach Muharram, as Muharram would approach, the first day of Muharram would approach, he would prepare himself for the coming days. All the joking, the laughing, the smiling would be set aside. And as the days of Muharram progress, he will become sadder and sadder. And as he approaches, as the Imam approaches Ashura, he will cry and weep and lament as if a mother has lost her child. And we did mention in the previous majalis that not a single person on this earth, according to very strong riwayat and ahadith that have been mentioned multiple times through multiple imams, that not a single person has acquired a position in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except that that person wept and lamented for Abu Abdullah Husayn. And that's why we call and we recall the hadith by noble Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written in his throne, إِنَّ الْحُسَيْنِ مِصْبَاحُ الْهُدَى وَسَفِينَةُ النَّجَاةِ. Husayn is the candle of guidance and the ark of salvation. In the previous majalis, we prepared and we brought a lot of propositions and arguments with regards to how this salvation takes place. We'll continue the same theme, inshallah, until the day of Ashura. My brothers and sisters, the concept, the entire goal of this majalis, as we mentioned in the previous session as well, is Ahya Amrana, is to revive the mission of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. As Imam Salih would mention, Rahimallahu imra'in Ahya Amrana, or Rahimallahu man Ahya Amrana. And in different occasions and in different times the Imams would mention, and even the noble Prophet, Allahumma ansur man nasara, or Allah, help those who help in the path of reviving the mission, reliving the mission of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. What is this mission of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam that is transferred through that is completed, or rather accomplished through this majalis and through the remembrance of Abu Abdullah Husayn. I must bring to you that the attention of a point of a very important concept in Islam, especially in Shia Islam, by the name of Faraj. I request all my brothers and sisters, especially tonight as we discuss this very, very important concept and what we can do to accomplish this. It's a very crucial concept. I request all my brothers and sisters to pay utmost of their attention and try to grasp as much as possible. And we will definitely have questions and answer sessions if requested. So it's a very important and crucial concept, and it's a concept that differentiates a Shia from a non-Shia, differentiates from a true believer, from a true follower of Islam, than a not so true follower. It differentiates a modern Muslim to a Muslim who is following an Islam of ages ago. Of course, Islam, as we know, is a universal religion. At the same time, it's a religion that covers all times and eras. If we sit down now and we say, what color did the Prophet wear? What type of clothing did the Prophet wear? Oh, what did the Prophet write to go from point A to point B? I should do the same. Then that's not the Islam, that's not the message of Islam. We're living the message, we're living with the Islam that came down ages ago. And that was only limited and specific to that age. But Islam is not what the Islam the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, preached and taught, and what the Imams had taught. You know, some brothers, especially the brothers who are moving towards the Salafi movement, my brothers and sisters, Salafi movement in concept and essentiality and its core is a very good and a very important and crucial movement. And it's a movement we all appreciate, but that there are certain aspects of the Salafi movement that we have to be careful about, and we have to find principles of understanding what is Salaf and what is the conceptual aspect of it. If it is the point that whatever the Prophet used to do in his time, we have to do the same. Whatever he wore, we wore the same. Whatever he wrote, we wrote the same. Whatever he ate, we have to eat the same. It means that Islam has not progressed. Islam is not universal. Islam is only for a specific area, which is Hijaz, and for a specific time, which is the time of the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. And once the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family passed away, there is no more progression. We have to stick and stay with that same time span and with that same area. So my brothers and sisters, this concept of Faraj, coupled with the concept of Salaf, we understand and we see a big picture of Islam that completely separated a different picture of Islam that the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family started with his initial mission, and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam continued with that same mission. Please recite all salawat. The most important objective of this majalis, of this congregations and gatherings we have for Abu Abdullah Husayn, is to accomplish something by the name of Faraj. What is Faraj? In our du'as, we constantly mention Allahumma ajil li waliyyika al-faraj. Oh Allah, hasten for your wali, for your hujjah, for your imam, for your representative. What should he hasten? The relief. Faraj, in its literal meaning, is relief. What is this relief that we are asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Faraj, my brothers and sisters, is the accomplishment of Hukumatullah, the Hukumatul Adil. Hukuma means the government of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the government of justice, the government of peace. And if you see in the riwayat and the ahadith of both the sources of the Ahlul Sunnah and the Shi'as, we are all similar in this, that after the arrival of the Mahdi, the world will be spread with justice and peace as it is now filled with injustice. and peace and restlessness. And at that time, there will be not a single poor person, both in terms of wealth of this dunya and the wealth of the akhirah. At that time, when the Mahdi comes, not a single transgressor and oppressor will be left alive through the Mahdi himself. And this concept of Savior is not only mentioned in the doctrines of Islam, my brothers and sisters. You will find this in the doctrines of most other religions, except especially those religions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent prophets, Christians and the Jews. So the Imams, they came for this entire purpose. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family, they came for this purpose, the purpose of Faraj. And when the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he left this world, and he gave his wasiyah, he said, إِنِّي تَارِكٌ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَعِتْرَةِ أَهْلَ بَيْتِي الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمْ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. All of this is to prepare for the arrival of the Faraj. And the Mahdi himself is coming for the Faraj. Qiwam, or the accomplishment of the Hukuma, the government of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where politics is no longer dirty. Politics is in the most noblest form will be seen in the world. Corruption will be eradicated from its roots. Systematically there will be not a single corrupt person in the government. And when Mahdi comes, it's mentioned in the riwayat that when he arrives, he will not judge according to what is mentioned in the Zawahir, the noble prophets and all the Imams. They were commanded to be judge according to the Zawahir. Zawahir means what is apparent to them. If you go, for example, and claim to the noble prophet, "Oh noble prophet, this land belongs to me. This other person has came and usurped that land from me." The Prophet will say, "Where is your documentation? Where is your proof? Where is your shawahid? Where are your witnesses that this land belongs to you?" Because they are all commanded to work according to shawahid, according to zawahir, what is apparent to them. It's a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Imam Ali, when two mothers came with a son, with a child, and both claimed that the child belongs to them, Imam Ali, they came to Imam Ali and they said, "This child belongs to them." The one mother says it's mine, the other says it's mine. Imam Ali did not write it, although they are connected to the ilmul ghayb, the Imams. They're connected to the ilmul ghayb. They don't have the wahy that the Kalamullah came to the Prophet, peace be upon him. They don't have the wahy of the Quran. But just like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَأَوْحَى إِلَى النَّهْلِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to a honeybee. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reveal to a honeybee, why not He revealed to the most noblest of the persons in His time? So they're connected to the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever and how much ever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them the permission to have and possess from His ilm, they have that ilm. So it wasn't difficult for the Imams to find out and judge according to the reality, but then they were still commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to judge according to what is apparent to them. So Ali says, "O Qatba," one of his servants, says, "Bring a sword." He brings a sword. He split the baby into half and give it to the two mothers. A living baby, cut the baby into half and give it to the two mothers. Divide the baby. One mother stepped up and says, no, it's not my son. It's not my child. Now Ali says, it's your child. Why? A real mother cannot bear seeing that child being cut into pieces. So Ali, he had to prove it through apparent means. Although he could have said, this is the child of that mother. No, he took that apparent route, not the route of reality that many do not have the capacity to see. He proved it and then judged according to what he proved. So our brothers and sisters, when the Mahdi comes, it's a separate story. He will judge according to reality. So when you go to the Mahdi and you say, this land belongs to me and this other one has usurped it, he will not say, bring your documentation. You will say this part belongs to you and that part belongs to you. Reality, what is in the reality? Don't we want that, my brothers and sisters? It's easy to say yes. It's very easy to say yes. Same set of people, just like me and you, came to Ali alayhi salam after the killing of Uthman, and they say, "Oh Ali, it's time for you to take the government." Ali rejected many times when they insisted. At the end, when they insisted, and their insistence was exaggerated and exhausted, Ali said, "I will take the government in one condition. I will remove the unjust morsel of food in the throats of the people and give it to the rightful persons." What does this mean? If I took one morsel of food through injustice, if I would took one right away, however that small right is, away from another person, Ali will return that right to them. Rightful one. Everybody says, this is what we want. Everybody, everybody gave the consensus for Ali to take his government in hand. Mind you, my brothers and sisters, go through the history of Uthman. It's very well known that Uthman gave too much of favoritism to his family. But Umayyah took the most from the Baytul Mal during the time of Uthman. And the people were fed up with what Uthman was doing. Poverty to its peak in the Muslim Ummah. Those who were getting richer were getting richer. Marwan ibn Hakam, Marwan, you know who his father is? Marwan, the father is Hakam is one of the people that the Prophet exiled from Medina for his nifaq. The Prophet said, never come back to this city because of your hypocrisy. He used to be the spy for the kuffar. The son of this same Hakam who was a spy, now is the son-in-law of Uthman. He holds the signature of Uthman. He is giving to the money and the resources to who he wills. The same person exiled Abu Dhar, the very well-known Sahabi of the noble Prophet, in the desert to die. This was the government of Uthman. The people were fed up. But were they ready for the government of Ali? They insisted. Ali said, okay, under one condition, I will return the right back to its rightful person. When Ali came into government, first war, Battle of Jamal. Who incited the war? Who came ahead? The same people who said, oh, Ali, take the hand of allegiance and take the government. Talha, Zubayr, and people of this sort. And what was their slogan? Ya Rathalat al-Uthman. We will take revenge for the blood of Uthman. Isn't this ironic? Isn't this ironic, my brothers and sisters? Yes, it's easy and it's very beautiful to say justice and peace. Relive, coming back to its rightful place. Nowhere in the world you will find oppression. It's the most beautiful of world, as many call it, the utopian city, the utopian dream. But is that possible? Will we stand up for justice and peace when it's against us? When it's against my brother, when it's against my sister, when it's against my father, my mother, my sons, my children? It's a different story. So my brothers and sisters, this government of Mahdi, when he arrives, there are stages to this government. There's Qiyam, there's Raj'at, and so on and so on. That's not a discussion of my point. But what he will accomplish through this government, the faraj, the relief, is what is very important for us. And that is what has been the task and objective of all the imams from the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family onwards. They all strive for this one thing. Some imams took it to the point that they did qiyam, but faraj was not accomplished. Like Imam Husayn, Abu Abdullah Husayn. They did qiyam. They stood up with his companions. But was the faraj achieved? No. They fulfilled their responsibilities, but the faraj was still not achieved. In one of the very rather strange riwayat I was going through, and it's a credible one. There are certain riwayat that are strange but not credible. One must not look upon these riwayat at a very strong and a keen level. But some riwayat, some ahadith are strange and also credible, through credible sources and narrations. Imam Sadiq, he says, the Faraj initially, after Abu Abdullah Husayn, was supposed to be acquired directly after we started our underground work, referring to their secret mission that they had, their underground network of people that they had, and they were planning, and their key words, the key words are mentioned in the riwayat, that the imams had key words narrating to each other, and their companions would have, through taqiyya, narrated, passed the message between each other to convey the responsibility and fulfill that responsibility accordingly. And it was so secretive mission of the imams that one of the companions of the imam, he says that so much secret information was with him. He came to the imam and says, "Oh Imam, I feel like I'm getting crazy now. So much, a person has a capacity with regards to upholding secrets. And those who have kept secrets know this. Secret meaning only that information passes through the blood of your vein and not the blood of anyone else's veins. That's a secret. Only you and Allah knows, and the person of whom you hold secret." This is how exhaustive their mission was. But then eventually, Banu Abbas got to know the secrets of the mission. Eventually took away the Faraj from the imams, hijacked the entire mission by the slogans, the same slogans that the imam used, and took the government. I don't want to go into details, that's not the discussion tonight. But the imam says our Faraj was supposed to occur at this time, when we were about to do qiyam and take away the government. But because of some of our Shias who let out our secrets, our Faraj was further delayed until a certain time. The hadith goes on to define another point of time, and then eventually the Imam says, and then the Faraj will be delayed for an unknown time. This unknown time is until the Shias and the followers of the Mahdi prepare themselves for the arrival of the Mahdi. Please recite as-salat. So my brothers and sisters, this Faraj is a definitive thing. It will happen according to Muslims, according to Christians, according to Shias, according to Sunnis, according to every single doctrine that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it be adulterated or not. Everyone believes this, that there will be the spread of justice and peace through a savior at the end of times. It will happen. In the riwayat it's mentioned that even if one day is left from the day of Qiyamah, and Qiyamah, my brothers and sisters, the day of Qiyamah is specified. Only Allah knows, we don't know. Allah knows when the day of Qiyamah is. If one day is left, 24 hours are left for the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make those 24 hours so long that the Mahdi will arrive in this 24 hours, do the qiyam, do the raj'at, and so on, and eventually accomplish faraj, accomplish the relief, spread justice and peace as promised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then the day of judgment. This is no joke, my brothers and sisters. This is no joke. So this faraj that the imams were after, what part do we play in this? This question as to what part we play in this faraj is the key question, and when solved in this majalis of Abu Abdullah Husayn, as we mentioned in the previous majalis, gives us the intensity, the blessings and the rewards of 1,000 hajj. And we did mention why the criteria of hajj is mentioned in the riwayat for the majlis of Abu Abdullah Husayn. For the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah Husayn. Why is this such a weighty thing? Because what is mentioned over here, what Abu Abdullah teaches and what Abu Abdullah brings salvation from, is a weighty thing, is it? That is something more pricey. So therefore, my brothers and sisters, in this concept of faraj, there are two very vast accepted opinions. As I mentioned in the beginning of the majlis, I request your utmost keen attention, as it's a very crucial point in time. There are two very important aspects or opinions of Faraj. One is that we wait and we wait until the Mahdi arrives, just as the brothers of Ahl Sunnah believe. Though they believe that Mahdi has not born yet, he will be born, and then in the right time he will come. Until then, we have no responsibility. We just wait for the Mahdi. Wait. And don't be surprised if many of the Shia brothers and sisters have the same mentality, my brothers and sisters. Because in the riwayat it's mentioned that the world will be filled with so much of hatred and injustice that there will not be a single person worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will not cry out for help. Everybody will be shouting out Al-Aman in their own languages and in their own ways. Oh Allah, save us from this torment. You see the recessions, economic recessions, social injustices, the cultural destruction that is taking place all across the world. Not only one, but everywhere in the world. When I was in high school, not long ago, a couple years, less than 10 years, my teacher was telling me that even in Guyana, the Hindu and the Muslim ladies in Georgetown, they would wear something on their, sort of a veil across their head to respect themselves. Now you go out, the entire culture is of molestation. It's a norm that a sister passes and the men look at that sister. And it's something, if this doesn't happen, it's abnormal, it has become abnormal for us. We expect a healthy society through this. When you see advertisements, there is no advertisement complete except that they bring in some form of lust in that advertisement. The product is no longer advertised. It's the lust for the product is advertised. BMW is no longer advertised. It's the woman that stands, the naked woman that stands in front of the BMW car and taking pictures and it's published in the magazines that is advertised. And we see this very strong. The feminism movement, remove the woman from the house, send them to the workplace, where the children will be. They'll be in the hands of the daycare. Who are controlling the daycare, my brothers and sisters? Do your own research. Do your own research. What is fed in these daycare places, these daycares? And unfortunately, this daycare system is now taking a very steep, turn in Guyana as well. Before we were talking, we were saying, okay, Georgetown is now becoming corrupt. Now the countryside is also taking the same step. Corruption from all aspects, from all angles is now being shown. ظهر الفساد من البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Fasad is now being shown through different angles. Corruption is now prevalent. In politics, my brothers and sisters, it's very crazy. But now, discussions of corruptions are being legalized. Legalized corruptions. I don't want to enter into the different manifestations of this. We all know we're all living in the same society. We cannot turn a blind eye to this. The rich is getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. The poor is becoming more poor through usurping its own rights. And the rich is getting richer through usurping the rights of the others, not through halal means. So one opinion says that let this fasad and let this corruption take place. Because only when this corruption takes place, the Imam Mahdi will come. It's only when this corruption takes place, the Imam will arrive and bring justice. If there is no injustice, then why would the Imam come? So no matter how much we struggle, no matter how much we do, no matter how we fight against this, there is no use. Because this is inevitable and it will happen. And when this happens, the Mahdi will come. So it's better. It's even better for us to allow this corruption to flourish so that the Mahdi arrives. And then we will see justice and peace. This is one opinion. And don't be surprised when arguments and academic arguments are brought up about this. I've been through this already, discussions with many brothers and sisters across the world. Academic arguments are brought for this. You'd be surprised. The other opinion is the opinion of Shaykh Mutahari and Imam Khomeini and most of the cream of the ulama of the Shias. Is that Faraj is not just, this waiting for the Faraj is not just an act of waiting and looking at the clock. It's not just passive patience, it's active patience. This waiting for Faraj entails that we move towards it. When something is inevitable, it doesn't mean that we watch and see what's going on. We move towards that inevitability. That's why in the riwayat, when the most inevitable phenomenon that me and you know and for sure that is inevitable, everyone knows, not a single human being can deny, is what, my brothers and sisters? Is what? Death. The single most inevitable thing that me and you and every single mankind knows is death. So what should we do? Sit down and wait for count the seconds, hours, minutes, days, years until the death hour. Is that what the Prophet commanded? It's logically clear that when something is inevitable, it doesn't mean that you wait for that inevitability. You progress towards it. While the Taghut, as we mentioned in the last majlis, while the Taghut is active, while the Kufr and Taghut is active in its own mission, the Iman and the Jundullah and the Jayshullah is active. The army of Allah is active in its own mission. And for you to wait in one position to see which one wins, like we mentioned, there is no third battlefield. You're either in the battlefield with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the other side of Taghut. Now you decide. If you're waiting and you're just watching to see what is going to happen, are you waiting in the battlefield with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His army, the army which Allah is the wali of Allah, waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min al-nur ila min al-dhulumati ila an-nur, or you're in the side of Taghut. This action of waiting, which side is it? Logically speaking, you're definitely in the Taghut side. You're definitely aiding the Taghut in this. My brothers and sisters, don't be surprised when you see this. Why? Because at the time of Abu Abdullah, the same set of people were there. They invited who? Abu Abdullah Husayn, the star of the time, one who everybody knew. My brothers and sisters, look at Abu Abdullah Husayn. Abu Abdullah Husayn was a Muslim, a well-known grandson of the noble Prophet. He was passing through a garden. He saw a slave man sitting down eating his food, but he was very sad. Very sad. He looked at his slave man. He saw as if he was a Muslim, and he says, "Why are you saddened by this?" He says, "I'm a slave of such and such a person, and I am tasked with looking after this garden. But I'm saddened because that the master, my master, the one who I am owned by, is a Jew. And I dislike this position that I'm in." So Abu Abdullah, he sees the situation, he says, "Don't worry, I will look after this." He goes to his house, he collects 200 dirhams. 200 dirhams, brothers and sisters, is what? Gold coins. 200 gold coins. He picks up 200 dinars, gold coins, comes to the house of the Yahudi, of the Jew. And he says, "Such and such person, such and such a slave you have under your position, I'd like to buy him out." He's a Jew. The master is a Jew. Abu Abdullah Husayn is a Muslim, grandson of the noble Prophet. But he knew this. Of course, he's a very well-known personality. He says, "I know I'm a Jew, but you, Abu Abdullah Husayn, you're the grandson of the Prophet, the Muslims, the person who Muslims revere and respect so much. I will not take money from you. I'll release this Jew. I'll release the slave. I'll set him free because you came to my house. You were asking for this." Look at this, Abu Abdullah Husayn. Story continues. The Jew says, not only will I release him and set him free, I will give the garden that he's taking care of in his position so he makes a living out of it. SubhanAllah. Abu Abdullah Husayn says, what a great thing that you've done. Since I intended this money to go for the freedom of this slave, I will bless and I will give this money back to him so that he will be able to invest in something for himself. Look at the goodness over here. The wife of the Jew was in the house listening to this. She overhears this. The saying, the ark of salvation, this is what it means. The wife says, if this is what Islam means, then I become a Muslim right now. The Jew looks at the wife and says, what's wrong with me? I am no less than you. If Islam is this, then I will also become a Muslim. What happened? Just to please the heart of a believer, Abu Abdullah Husayn said, out, a slave was freed, a garden was gifted, 200 dinar were gifted, 2 became a Muslim just to please the heart of him. The point I wanted to make, my brothers and sisters, Abu Abdullah Husayn was a known personality by all. Abu Abdullah Husayn was a known personality by all. Please recite wa salawat. My brothers and sisters, this known personality, letters were written to him by the Kufans, saying that, oh Imam, Muawiyah is now dead, Yazid, a very well-known wicked man, is now taking the Khilafah. We all have come together to support you. Come. It's as if we are now saying, Allahumma ajil li waliyika al-faraj. Oh Imam of our time, come now. We are telling the Mahdi, come now, right? Isn't it? Isn't this equivalent? There were letters, we are also doing the same. So the Imam sets out, he sends his messenger, Muslim ibn Aqil, to verify what's going on in Kufa. He goes there and verifies, says, oh Imam, yes, I've seen these people, and they seem to be loyal to you, they seem that they are legitimate in their request. So the Imam sets out. Suddenly, turn in the history, Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad is now appointed, a person who is known for his politics, who is known for his wickedness and his barbaricness, now appointed the governor of Kufa by Yazid to tackle the situation. He comes in, one after the other, he arrests the followers of Abdullah Husayn who wrote the letters to Imam Husayn to come and take the government now. Suddenly, a change in the tide. It's already late. The Muslim cannot write back to Imam Husayn because he's now arrested as well. Muslim cannot send any message to Abu Abdullah to not come back to Kufa anymore. He's already on the way. What happens here? The Shias who were in the Kufa, the Muslim brought them together. And of them, the very well-known personalities was Sulaiman ibn Surad al-Qudai. Look at the history. He was the one, or rather one of the leading persons who wrote the letters and also invited many of the followers of Ahlul Bayt to write letters to Abu Abdullah Husayn to invite him to take the government. When Muslim says, Sulaiman, it's now time. The Imam is in the way, he's coming. If we let Ubaydullah continue like this, arresting one after the other, definitely the time will come for the life of the Imam himself. It's time we stand right here and right now and take back what is rightfully ours. You know what Sulaiman says? We wait. This is what he says. We wait for the Imam. The history has it all. So my brothers and sisters, what do? We wait. We call the Imam and we wait. It's logical. That's why Imam Khomeini, when he started his Qiyam, and he started his revolution, he stood up and he says, it's now time to prepare the ground for the reappearance and arrival of the Imam. It's mentioned in the riwayat, both the Sunnis and the Shias believe that there will be a flag coming from Khurasan. And this flag will be the flag that will be handed over to Mahdi. This flag will not fall. It will be held up high until the Mahdi arrives. This flag will be the flag referring to the government, this referring to a system of governance. This flag will upbring many of the soldiers of Mahdi, and it will eventually be given to Mahdi himself. So there's not confusion. My brothers and sisters, what is our responsibility? It's clear that we don't wait, but what do we do? For the faraj of the Imam, there are certain personal responsibilities. It's very clear for us. Being pious, making sure that we have the rizq, the sustenance that comes into our house is halal. Ensuring that we invite each other towards goodness and try to discourage each other from badness, from evil. All of these are personal development, brothers and sisters. But there were many personalities in the history that were stars, that were, if we compare ourselves to them, we cannot be a single hair strand of them. Sheikh Ansari, Sheikh Bahr al-Ulum, Sheikh Mufid, all of these are the heads. These people are the ones, because of them, because of their inheritance, we are able to see the message and the mission of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam reach to us. But they were all individuals. They all cleansed themselves. And yes, they were able to clean many people, but not to the capacity where the Imam is to be arrived, was to arrive. And the most clearest of the witnesses, the most clearest of evidence is that the Imam is not yet. If Imam was to arrive when the most cleanest of the hearts are here to support him, then he would have arrived many times, long ago. But it's clear that there wasn't a community that was prepared for him. There were many individuals and many personalities, but not a community, not a society. Not a togetherness that had prepared for the arrival of the Mahdi. And so that the faraj may be accomplished. So my brothers and sisters, the collective preparedness is what is missing and the key for the arrival of the Mahdi. Inshallah, for the coming nights, tomorrow night is going to be the last majlis in the night, and inshallah, before the day of Ashura, Thursday night, being the night of Ashura, and then the Ashura itself. The 2 minutes left, we'll try our best to digest and understand what this community development and this preparedness for the arrival of the Mahdi entails, so that we understand our responsibility with the arrival of the Mahdi. My brothers and sisters, the Ashab of Abu Abdullah Husayn, one after the other. That's why Abu Abdullah Husayn, he mentions on the day of Ashura, towards Najaf or Medina, he says, "Oh my grandfather, oh my father, I was blessed with companions that none of you were blessed with." Individually, each one of them was superior to the other. Habib being the faqih of the time. When Imam wrote a letter to Habib, it's mentioned that he referred to Habib as faqih. من الحبيب إلى الفقيه. Each one of them, his son Ali al-Akbar, خلقا وخلقا, in both morality and morals and ethics, and his approach to this world, and also the way he was shaped. He resembled the noble Prophet, peace be upon him and his family. So much so that on the day of Ashura for Salatul Fajr, when Imam ordered Ali al-Akbar to give the adhan, the army of Yazid was mistaken. They said, "Well, did Rasulullah came back from the dead? Did he come back over here now?" Because the voice of Rasulullah was overheard. It's the voice of Ali al-Akbar. It was very well known. Each one of them individually was an expert. And now on this day of Ashura, Imam has to see each one of these experts give away their lives one after the other. Each one of these Ismails being slaughtered. Ibrahim ala nabiyina wa ala alihi wa salam was ordered to sacrifice one son, Ismail. Abdullah, you know, a teacher holds the responsibility of a father. That's why the riwayat say, لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ ثَلَاثَةَ أَبٍ. For every man there are three fathers. أَبٌ عَلَّمَكَ أَبٌ وَلَّدَكَ, the father that has given life to you, through which you were able to come to this world. أَبٌ زَوَّجَكَ, your father-in-law, the father that gives his daughter in hand of marriage to you. وَأَبٌ عَلَّمَكَ, the father that teaches you. Not only was Abu Abdullah the teacher of each one of them and a father to them, a mentor to them, but through the other riwayah that says, أَنَا وَعَلِي أَبَوَا هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ, and through this extension, all the imams are also the father of this ummah. It's a father to them. Now he has to see 72 Ismail slaughtered in front of him, butchered in different ways on the day of Ashura. That's why in the Quran it says, وَفَدَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. Ismail was safeguarded for a greater slaughter. And that slaughter that will take place on the day of Ashura. Individually, my brothers and sisters, each one of them had the most noblest of characters. Collectively as well, they were all together in one boat, in one ark of Abdullah and Husayn. You see, in the night of Ashura, each one of the ashab preparing the other one, giving glad tidings to the other ones, happy about what is going to happen tomorrow, the martyrdom that they're going to achieve, helping each other. Do you think they thought about what possessed by who? No, it doesn't matter. You take my sword, you take my horse. It didn't matter the day of Ashura. All were one in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Collectively they were ready for the Imam. And of the ones who showed the most affectionate and collective affectionate about Abdullah Husayn was Abu Fadl al-Abbas, the brother of Abu Abdullah Husayn. My brothers and sisters, there are two people in the life of Abu Abdullah had special connection to Abu Abdullah himself individually from the inception of their life. One was Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha, that during her marriage, when Imam Ali gave Lady Zainab to the hand of Abdullah ibn Ja'far, he says, Abdullah, there are two reasons I fear that you might be displeased from my daughter. One is that she is constantly in ibadah. She worships a lot, she prays a lot. You might be displeased of her because of this. She might not give you the time that you might have required. And the other thing that you might not be very happy of her is her love to Abu Abdullah Husayn. She cannot bear not seeing Abu Abdullah Husayn a single day. This is one individual. The second is Abu Fadl al-Abbas. From the time he was born, he became the waqf of Abu Abdullah, the slave of Abu Abdullah. It's mentioned that once Imam Ali alayhi salam in Masjid al-Kufa, he was delivering a sermon. Hassan and Husayn were next to him. Imam Husayn's lips were dried. I don't know what kind of a relation and this correlation that Imam Husayn has with thirstiness and the dryness of lips. It's happened so much times in the history, and we see this in so many riwayat, the thirst of Husayn. But Abu Abdullah once was crying when he was a small child, he was crying out of thirst. Rasulullah stopped the sermon he was delivering and says, give this child some water. He could not bear hearing the sound of this child being thirsty. Imam Ali was delivering a sermon. Imam Hassan and Imam Husayn were next to him. The lips of Abu Abdullah Husayn were dried out of thirstiness. Abu Fadl Abbas was in the crowd looking at Abu Abdullah Husayn. He sees the dryness in the lips of Abu Abdullah. He rushes out of the masjid to bring some water for Abu Abdullah. And in the way, Abu Fadl Abbas, he falls on the ground and the water spills. Ameed Aabidi stops his sermon and he looks at Abbas. The attention is now at Abbas, who is now bringing the water from Abdullah, now spilled the water. He cries right in the sermon. And he prophesies rightfully by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, on the day of Ashura, there will be a time that this same son of mine will try to bring water for this other son, and he will not be able to. This connection about it. When Imam Ali was in his deathbed, he took the hands of all the Banu Hashim and he put it in the hands of Imam Hassan. And he says, oh Banu Hashim, after me, this is the Imam for you. He took the hand of Imam Hassan and puts it in the hand of Imam Husayn, in the hand of Imam Hassan. This is your Imam, but then he takes the hand of Abu Fadl Abbas in the hands of Husayn. He says, Abu Fadl Abbas, you take care of Husayn. Your task is to take care of Husayn. The day of Ashura, arise, my brothers and sisters. All the tents are erected. The Ashab given their lives. Time for Banu Hashim come one after the other. They lost their life in the way of Abu Abdullah Husayn, butchered and slaughtered. When no one is left, only Abu Abdullah and Abu Fadl Abbas left. The tents were still calm. The women and the children in the tents were calm. They know that there is a man to protect them. They know that there is Abbas and Husayn looking after them. My brothers and sisters, the time came when the cries of Al-Atash, when the cries of thirst emerged from the tents of Abu Abdullah Husayn. The children were thirsty. The flag bearer of Abu Abdullah Husayn, the one who held the flag, and remember I told you, flag means there is some form of government, there is some form of uprising here, and this uprising has not yet fell. And when the flag falls, means the flag uprising has fallen down. The flag bearer of Abu Abdullah Husayn in the army, Imam Husayn did not command him to go and fight. He says, go bring the water for the children. Abu Fadl Abbas, he rushes towards the Furat, the Euphrates river, fills the water up in his container. He pushes every single enemy that comes in his way, and while he was returning, the enemy saw that if this water arrives to the tents of Abu Abdullah Husayn, there will be a new life. There will be new life given to them. They did whatever they can to stop it. From one angle they attacked and they chopped the right hand of Abu Fadl Abbas. He's still alive. He continues. He doesn't care who is attacking him. He doesn't care, and he doesn't even take time to look upon who is after him. He's rushing towards the tent just so this container of water arrives to the tents of Abu Abdullah. The children are quenched from their thirst. Another attacks from the left, cuts the left arm of Abu Fadl Abbas. Even now, my brothers and sisters, when you go to Karbala, you will find the right hand was cut somewhere else and the left hand was cut far away. It shows that Abu Fadl Abbas, he was rushing and running towards the tents of Abu Abdullah Husayn. The narrations mention that they shot an arrow in his eyes. My brothers and sisters, put some dust in your eyes and you will know what this means. An arrow in the eyes of Abu Fadl Abbas. Does he stop? No, he has a mission. He has a responsibility. He still has the container of water that he has to carry to the camp of Abu Abdullah. Rushes. Until eventually they shot the arrow in the container and the container spills water. There is no more water left to carry to the tents of Abu Abdullah. At this time, Abu Fadl Abbas, he shouts, he says, Ya akhak adrik. Oh brother, come and help your brother. Take your brothers in arm now. What I fail to understand, my brothers and sisters, he could have called out Imam Husayn way before. When his arm was cut, he could have called him out. Abdullah Husayn. When his other arm was cut through, he could have called him Abdullah Husayn. When he was ambushed with arrows, he could have called him Abdullah Husayn. When the arrow reached his eye and penetrated the eye, he could have called from Abdullah Husayn. It is only when he fell from the horse and the container was pierced with an arrow, he called from Abdullah Husayn. It gives us a message, my brothers and sisters. He was tasked with the responsibility. He is now saying, oh my brother. He's too ashamed to say, oh my brother, I cannot bring water. He's saying, oh my brother, I have fallen now. It was still a distance from the tents of Abdullah to where Abbas had fallen. So the women and children in the tents still have hope that there will still come water. Water will come to them. Abu Abdullah Husayn reaches for his brother, holds him, and he recites a very famous sentence, my back has now broken, meaning that I do not have any power to stand anymore without this brother of mine, Abbas. Brothers and sisters, when he arrives back to the tents of Abdullah Husayn, he doesn't utter a word. He goes and he brings down the tent of Abu Fadl Abbas, indicating to the women now, to the women and children, there is no more Abbas to protect you. Abbas is now gone. La yawmka yawmaka ya Abu Abdullah. When Ali al-Akbar called for his father to help, Imam Hussein was there. When Qasim called for his uncle for help, Imam Hussein arrived. When Abu Fadl Abbas even called for help, Imam Hussein arrived. On the day of Ashura, when everyone were gone, Imam Abu Abdullah Hussein, he shouts, "O Habib, O Muslim, O Abbas, where are you now, my companions and my family?" There is no one to answer the call of Abu Abdullah Hussein. He shouts, "Hal min nasirin yansurni," no one to answer. He himself falls on the ground. Who should he call? Sister Zainab, his sister Zainab comes out of the tent. There was a small earthquake. She comes out of the tent to see what's going on. She sees her brother over there. Should Hussein call the sister? Hussein says, "Sister, go back to your tents. As long as I am alive, no one should come out of the tents." It was only when Abu Abdullah Hussein was killed and they ambushed the tents of the family of Abu Abdullah Hussein. Imam Sajjad says, tell the family, tell the kids and the women to now run towards the desert. Now after Abu Abdullah Hussein, Abu Fadl Abbas, both of them were killed. The family were taken as prisoners. But it is only after these two protectors of the family were killed that the enemy had the dareness and audacity to capture the family of Abu Abdullah Hussein. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. مات من الحسين.
Ya Husayn, 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 Ya Husayn.
Sisters, this weekend, this calling of Abu Abdullah Hussein, chanting Ya Husayn and chanting Zakiyas is a part of Majlis, is a part of Ahya Amrana, is a part of reliving and reviving the mission of Abu Abdullah Hussein and Ahlul Bayt, my brothers and sisters. This emotion that we bring out and we truly embody is a part of this mission of worship that we do. And with the niyyah of worship, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us and reward us for this. Inshallah, I request my brothers especially to come closer as much as possible, to form a very close circle and repeat the chorus after me. We are all very well acquainted by this. We went through from the first of Muharram until now. We're approaching Ashura. We should be able to embody the energy that Abu Abdullah Hussein has given us in this majalis. And this energy should explode in this part of the majlis, my brothers and sisters. Everybody together. Thar Allah, Thar Allah. rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah,
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Karbala is on our mind. Let us see what we can find from the lives of the saints men who wrote the truth with a bloody pen. Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah, mashallah.
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
In our heart there lies a scar carved in by Ali Akbar, young and deep, but there was the need for the wrath of a lion's heart. Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of
and
God.
of Abbas, what can we say? Look at his body at the end of the day, bloodied and clean. Now we perceive the faith of a soldier who truly believed. For the free was able to see the clarity of the Imam's plea. He switched his side and changed the tide and rushed to his death with battle pride. Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
there's Habib wishing to be the first cut down by the enemy. His loyalty was completely for the son of Imam Ali, and there's Sa'id ready to bleed for the sake of Muhammad's creed. In Salah the arrows he shields till his fate was finally sealed. Allah,
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God. Best of your voices.
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God. Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising
What
sword
was their
of God.
message? Ashab al-Husayn, brutally slain, taught the world to overcome its pain. All aboard, seeking their Lord, their blood finally overcame the sword. Allah,
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah, Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Men like these can't be appeased, carry the future of our species. Monks by night, waiting to fight, changed into lions at first daylight. Allah,
Allah,
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah, everyone.
Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Allah,
Allah, Husayn is the rising sword of God.
Ya Mahdi, adrikni, Ya Mahdi, adrikni, Ya Mahdi,
Adrikni,
save this world from tyranny and liberate Islam's fate. from the yoke of those who hate God Allah. Husayn is the rising sword of God Allah. Husayn is the rising sword of God Allah. Husayn is the rising sword of God. I request my younger brothers and sisters to take part and participate in these lyrics as much as they can, this chorus. Use the best of their voices. Allah is looking upon you. Ahlul Bayt is looking upon you. You are the investment and assets of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Ya Allah, every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Oh Mahdi, come to our aid. Oh Mahdi, answer our calls. All the Muslims who are suffering today, it's because we have lost our way. All those Muslims who are suffering today, it's because we have lost our way. All the orphans and the sick and the needy are being oppressed at the hands of the greedy. All the tyrants have joined together to destroy Islam forever. As they had gathered around Karbala, it brings to light the day of Ashura. Oh Mahdi, come to our aid. Oh Mahdi, answer our calls. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. MashaAllah, every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Oh Mahdi, come to our aid. Oh Mahdi, answer our calls. All humankind should awaken their conscience to unite with Islam in one defense. When the time comes for confrontation, we all need Mahdi's consolidation. Oh Mahdi, come to our aid. Oh Mahdi, answer our calls. Every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. And every day is Ashura and every land is Karbala. Oh Mahdi, come to our aid. Oh Mahdi, answer our calls. Brothers and sisters, for this last, let me, like I mentioned in the last minutes as well, the Ahlul Bayt are among us. You're listening to us speak about the Dark Husayn as if he's among you, he's with you, he's listening to you. Call his name. He will definitely, inshallah, look upon you. Use all the energy that is left, rather the energy that was incited in the majlis for this last Qatmiyah, inshallah. Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. Husayn, oh Master, oh Master, oh Master. Husayn, oh Master, oh Master, oh Master. Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. 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 Thirsty Ruqayya, thirsty Ruqayya, thirsty Abdullah. We just need water. Father, some water. Where's your flag bearer? Where's your flag bearer? Son of Fatima, son of Fatima. Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. Husayn, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn's all alone, Husayn's all alone. Now Qasim has gone, Ali Akbar's gone, Ali Akbar's gone. Abu Fadil's gone, Abu Fadil's gone, Abu Fadil's gone, Abu Fadil's gone, Abu Fadil's gone. Husayn wa wayla, Husayn wa wayla, Husayn wa wayla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Oh, Zainab praise Allah, Zainab praise Allah, Zainab praise Allah. Where's Abu Abdullah, where's Abu Abdullah? Where's Ali Akbar, where's Abdullah? Where's my flag bearer, where's my protector? Where is my Abbas, where is my Abbas, where is my Abbas, where is my Abbas? Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya
What's going on the 10? Zahra cries Husayn, Zahra cries Husayn, Zahra cries Husayn, Zainab cries Husayn, Zainab cries Husayn. My tears cry Husayn, my tears cry Husayn. My heart cries Husayn, my heart cries Husayn. Husayn cries out loud, Husayn cries out loud. Where is my Abbas? Where is my Abbas? Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer. Tonight is the night, my brothers and sisters. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer. These are the cries of Husayn. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Children cry in thirst, children cry in thirst, children cry in thirst. Where is my Abbas? Where is my Abbas? Abbas cries in pain. Abbas cries in pain. Abbas cries in pain. Children, I've been slain. Children, I've been slain. I can't bring water. I can't bring water. I can't bring water. For you, Ruqayya. For you, Ruqayya. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla.
Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. Husayn ya Mawla, ya Mawla, ya Mawla. All your energy, Husayn, 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 Husayn. أبا عبد الله حسين 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 أبا عبد الله حسين. يا عباس يا عباس يا حسين 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 يا عباس يا حسين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله. My brothers and sisters, when we cry for Husayn, all the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam around us will cry. When we talk about Abbas, Husayn himself cries, my brothers and sisters. Tonight, although every night, every day belongs to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, but tonight, as is customary, we remember the sacrifices of Al-Fadl Abbas, inshallah, and we send our salutations to all the shuhada.
Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Ibn Rasulillah. Assalamu alayka wa ala jaddika wa abik. Assalamu alayka wa ala ummika wa akhik. Assalamu alayka wa ala tis'atil ma'sumin min zurriyatika wa banik. خصوصا سيدي ومولاي يا أبا الفضل عباس ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليكم يا جميع شهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. الأمان الأمان من فتن الزمان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.